Paddy Pimblett says he knows how to beat Ilia Topuria, and he's ready to skip the line to prove it. But with Topuria chasing UFC gold, is this grudge match closer than we think? Paddy Pimblett has publicly reignited his feud with Ilia Topuria, doubling down on his belief that he can hand El Matador his first career loss. Speaking on his YouTube channel, the Baddy stated confidently, "I know how to beat him. Nobody exposes his weaknesses because everyone just tries to box with him." Pimblett hinted that he has a different game plan, likely grounded in his grappling background, that could be the key to Topuria's downfall. Even though Pimblett currently sits at number 8 in the UFC lightweight rankings and his last 2 wins came against unranked Bobby Green and number 12 Michael Chandler, he argues that meritocracy doesn't always drive matchmaking in the UFC. Instead, he believes star power and rivalries can leapfrog traditional rankings. Pimblett is betting on the UFC prioritizing fan interest and European marketability over divisional logic, especially if Topuria captures the title. He also mentioned that if Ilia publicly calls him out after winning the belt, the UFC would have little choice but to make the fight happen, due to its obvious pay-per-view appeal. The statement shows Pimblett understands the business side of MMA and is leveraging his popularity to potentially jump the title queue, a move that would no doubt spark criticism but generate massive viewership. If you're enjoying these daily UFC updates and want to stay ahead of every twist in the Topuria-Pimblett rivalry, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to MMA Thread. We drop UFC content 3 times a day. Ilia Topuria, currently on the brink of fighting Charles Oliveira for the vacant UFC lightweight title, has already mapped out his first title defense, and he wants it to be against Paddy Pimblett. Despite Pimblett's lower ranking and recent criticism over his strength of schedule, Topuria is openly calling for the bout due to their heated rivalry and the media spotlight both fighters attract. This isn't just personal, it's business. Topuria understands the value of hype, and a matchup with Pimblett would generate massive interest, especially across Europe, where both men are already established stars. Their feud dates back to a now infamous hotel altercation and multiple verbal exchanges on social media, which have only fueled anticipation for a potential showdown. From a marketing standpoint, this fight sells itself. A champion like Topuria defending against Pimblett, despite questions of merit, would likely headline a European pay-per-view or a major UFC card. The UFC has a track record of booking money fights over merit-based matchups, especially when personal beef is involved. While purists may criticize the decision if it happens, UFC matchmakers know the value of storyline-driven rivalries, and Topuria versus Pimblett has all the ingredients: national pride, undefeated stakes, and unfinished business. While most of Ilia Topuria's recent fights have showcased his powerful boxing and knockout ability, his foundation as a grappling expert is often overlooked, especially by opponents who believe they can expose him on the ground. Paddy Pimblett, a known submission artist with 10 submission wins out of 23 total victories, believes this is exactly where he can beat El Matador. Pimblett has built his career on ground dominance, often overwhelming opponents with slick transitions and rear-naked chokes. He's confident that if the fight hits the mat, he can out-grapple and potentially submit Topuria. However, that may be wishful thinking. Topuria's grappling credentials are elite. In fact, 7 of his first professional wins came by submission, and he has a reputation for beating opponents in their own strength. His submission of BJJ black belt Bryce Mitchell at UFC 282, someone known for his high-level jiu-jitsu, was a clear message to the division: you can't out-grapple Ilia. This raises an intriguing possibility. Rather than avoid the ground, Topuria might welcome a ground battle just to prove a point. He's done it before and he might do it again, especially against someone like Pimblett who believes grappling is his path to victory. If this fight happens, don't expect it to be a pure stand-up war. It could very well become a high-level jiu-jitsu chess match, with both fighters testing each other in the area they claim to dominate, and that alone would make it one of the most technical and unpredictable title fights the UFC could book. Do you think Pimblett actually has what it takes to beat Topuria? Or is El Matador just on another level? Drop your take in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to MMA Thread for your next dose of UFC news, right when it breaks.